Luca was staring straight into the doctor's eyes, his heart pounding in his chest as a shocking truth was about to be revealed. Something that would change his life and that of his family forever. But right now, in that hospital room, lit by a cold, distant light, all she could do was wait, trying to prepare herself for a revelation she could never have imagined. If you like intense and emotional stories like this, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any in the future. Enjoy. Luca and Sofia grew up in a small, rural town of Monturkey, surrounded by the scents of orange groves that stretched as far as the eye could see. The two brothers were very close, not only because they were twins, but because they shared every moment of their lives, from childhood laughter to the growing responsibilities of life on the farm. Luca, with his robust appearance and his silent determination, had always protected Sofia, more fragile but endowed with a kind and caring soul. Alessandra and Giorgio, their parents, had built a simple life, but full of love and dedication, working hard to keep the farm prosperous. Life in the countryside was marked by ancient rhythms, and for Luca and Sofia, the world was confined between the rows of orange trees and the clear skies of Monturkey. Their days were filled with hard work, but also with moments of shared joy, such as long walks through the fields and evenings spent under the stars, dreaming of a future full of hope. Despite the difficulties, their family was united, and this gave them the strength to face any challenge. However, that cursed day changed everything. It was a late summer afternoon, and the sun beat down relentlessly on the fields. Giorgio was working with the tractor when the unthinkable happened. The vehicle overturned, trapping his father under the weight of the machine. Luca and Sofia's desperate screams echoed through the trees as they ran toward him, hearts in their throats trying to lift him. Despite their efforts, their father was gravely injured, and every moment lost could mean his end. Breathless and with panic in their minds, Luca and Sofia loaded their father into the pickup truck and headed to the hospital. The road seemed endless, and every jolt of the vehicle made Alessandra jump, who desperately tried to compress Giorgio's wound, praying silently for a miracle. Time stretched out in that narrow space, filled with the acrid smell of blood and fear. They finally arrived at the hospital, and Giorgio was rushed to the operating room. The hours that followed were torment, with Alessandra and her children sitting in the waiting room, unable to think of anything but the fate of their beloved husband and father. Every minute seemed like an eternity, while the ticking of the clock on the wall marked the time with an almost unbearable cruelty. After what seemed like an eternity, the doctor returned. His gaze was serious. "We have managed to stabilize Giorgio," he said, and those words brought temporary relief to the family. However, the doctor explained that many blood transfusions had been required, and that the hospital's supplies were now exhausted. He asked if the family would be willing to donate blood to help replenish the reserves. Alessandra hesitated. She had always feared for her children's health, knowing how hard the work on the farm was, but Luca and Sofia insisted. They wanted to do everything in their power to help their father recover. So, a few days later, the twins went to the hospital to donate blood. A few days after the donation, Luca and Sofia were called to the doctor's office. The doctor, with a serious expression, began to talk about a discrepancy he had noticed in the blood test results. "Your blood types are not compatible with those of either of your parents," he said, trying to gauge the impact of those words on the two young people. If you're enjoying the story, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Luca and Sofia exchanged a confused look. They couldn't understand what the doctor was trying to tell them. "Does this mean that—" Sofia stammered, unable to finish the sentence. The doctor nodded, trying to be as clear as possible. "Based on your blood types, it's unlikely that you're both biological children of the same parents." Luca felt his world collapsing. How could it be? He had always believed he was Alessandra and Giorgio's son, and now, suddenly, that certainty was shattered by a simple blood test. The doctor continued to speak, suggesting that further investigation was needed, perhaps with the help of a lawyer, to understand what had happened at the time of their birth. In that moment, Luca felt lost, as if the ground beneath his feet had dissolved. How could he continue to live, knowing that his identity was being questioned? With a trembling voice, he turned to the doctor and asked, "If I am not the son of Alessandra and Giorgio, who am I really?" The revelation was devastating. Back home, Luca and Sofia knew they had to confront Alessandra. With heavy hearts, they decided to talk to her that evening. When Alessandra saw her children's faces, she immediately knew something was wrong. "Mum, we need to talk," Sofia said, and the mother felt a pang in her heart. Luca wasted no time, and with a firm but painful voice, asked his mother, "Who are my real parents?" Alessandra was speechless. The love for her adopted son and the fear of losing him mixed together in a tumult of emotions. She could no longer hide the truth. With tears in her eyes, Alessandra began to tell the story of Lara, her friend, who, having become pregnant without ever revealing the identity of the father, did not survive the birth. Alessandra, devastated by the loss, took Luca, Lara's son, in her arms and raised him as her own. "You have always been my son," Alessandra said with a broken voice, assuring Luca of all the love she had given him. Despite the shocking truth, the bond between them remained strong. Alessandra finally revealed the name of Luca's biological father, Eduardo, a young man who had worked on the farm. Lara had not wanted him to know about the paternity, and Alessandra had respected that wish. The truth had come out, but one thing remained certain. Alessandra's love for Luca was unchangeable. "You will always be my son," she concluded, as Luca moved, hugged her, knowing that he would never want another family.